And we are live. This is Deb and Beth and Stephanie with Lost Souls. We have a very sad case tonight to talk about. It's a local case that my heart's been with for 9 years. Kyle Mosher went missing 9 years ago this month on the 19th. And basically missing without a trace. So in doing this show, one of our big things is to help some of our local people to get answers. We'd love to say be found, because you never know when somebody goes missing like this. You never know. And that's the hardest part for the family, is not knowing. And speaking of family, we have Kyle Mosher's mother with us tonight, Michelle, and I'll be bringing her in, and she will help us understand what's going on with this case. Everybody, welcome Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second. If you guys can carry on the show, I need to take myself off the screen for 1 moment.
So, Michelle, I understand we just had an anniversary that passed. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep. July 19th. Kyle has been missing for 9 years now. So it's been a rough week.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, did you do something in honor of that, or do you just
every birthday and every anniversary, his sister and I always get together and we celebrate Kyle and send balloons up and stuff like that. So, but every year we are together for that.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. And as we were saying before the show, no mother can imagine. We can't allow ourselves to imagine what this must be like for you. I myself have lost a son, but I knew what happened. And I just can't imagine not knowing anything. And for 9 years, yeah, that's it's heartbreaking. So can you take us back, Michelle, to how this happened? I know everybody is curious. How did he just go missing?
Well, he came to Houghton Lake with his fiance, Callie, and they had their kids with them, and it was a really hot day, and they were going over to a friend's house on Lake James to go swimming. Kyle ended up leaving for a while and going over to another friend's house and met up with a guy that he didn't know the guy very well, but he knew his younger brother. And the guy asked Kyle to drive him over to Cadillac. So I had Kyle's one daughter because she had tubes in her ears and she couldn't swim. So I had Layla, and Kyle left, and that was the last time that anyone had seen him.
So was his fiance in Houghton Lake?
Yes. Yep. She was in Houghton Lake with the kids, and I had Layla. So yeah, we were all here.
And she expected him to come right back from...
Yep. In a few hours, she expected him to come back. Well, it got to be like 10 o'clock at night, and she called and said, "Have you seen Kyle?" And I said, "Well, the last time I talked to him and saw him was at about 5:30. And he told me he was running to Cadillac and that he would be back." And she said that that's what she heard. And then she never heard anything after that.
Wow.
But the person he was with, he isn't missing.
No, he's not missing.
And do we know anything about his story?
Yeah, he lawyered up, so he's not talking.
And he actually, and we won't, I don't know if we can say names, but this person actually came out of the woods, 3 days later, Michelle?
Correct. It was on a Friday, and he came out on a Monday.
Okay.
Walking?
Yes, he came out walking and was in Lake City and went up to this lady's door and asked for a ride and to Houghton Lake, and she told them no. I guess he used to work for her husband years ago. So he went up to the door and asked for a ride, and she let us know that he didn't look like he had been in the woods one day, let alone 3.
Right. And I know the area because, Michelle came to see me after Kyle went missing. Sadly, that's how we met. And I got involved in the case and ended up, doing some searches and things like that. It's not a nice area out there. It's very thick, wooded, hilly. The river runs through a lot of it.
Yeah, it's Dead Stream Swamp.
Right. So it's not something that most people can walk out of especially after 3 days, looking clean.
Michelle,
Right.
we have somebody listening on chat who would like to ask you a question. Is that okay?
Sure.
This is Cameraman. He wanted to know, was the truck he used ever recovered?
Yes.
Can you say where it was or no?
It was off of 7 Mile on a trail.
Yeah, and it's right on isn't it right on the Kalkaska and Missaukee County line?
Correct.
Right in that area.
Yeah. And the trail that was from the road where they took it, that trail went back right, and it butted right up to the Dead Stream Swamp. But like Deb said, the Dead Stream Swamp is miles and miles. So
was that anywhere near where the other person came out of the woods?
No,
I would say that was close to, from what I knew, about 10 miles away.
Correct. Yeah.
So not even close to that area.
Mm-mm.
Was anything out of place with his truck at all?
Unfortunately, I never got to see the truck because when I found out where the truck was, it was late that one evening, and the police came to my door that night, and it was about 11:30, and I had just found out probably 45 minutes before that, and a lot of people were saying that I was hiding Kyle, and so they kind of were constantly like harassing, and I got upset with them, and I told them that Kyle wasn't here, that if they wanted to come in, but if not, they needed to get off my porch. Well, my fiance talked with them after I shut the door on them, and he came back in and said, I really think that we should tell them where the truck is, because that way we would have more resources to help to find Kyle. So I agreed. And then the next morning at 8 o'clock, we had a search scheduled for out there. We all met at the trailhead there, and the police had all of it blocked off and wouldn't let me back there.
But the police haven't said that they found anything, any evidence or any clues or anything?
No. The police have not been real great with us, so.
Right. From what I remember, I think you were on day 7 or something when I was brought in. Didn't it take the police like 4 or 5 days to even form a search?
Oh, it took longer than that because they were missing for 3 days and we were out searching for those 3 days plus several days. It was probably a good week or more.
That's kind of par for the course when an adult is missing because they just don't want to. I don't want to say they don't want to take it seriously, but I think they assume a lot of the times that, you know, he's an adult, he just ran off and did whatever he wanted. And, you know, that's not the case most of the time, but they still haven't caught on to that, you know, your son, you know, what's normal for him and what's not normal. And if you're saying this isn't normal, then they should be listening to that.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be stressing you out on top of a time like that.
No.
Right.
That's so callous.
Yeah. They really dropped the ball. So.
Yeah. Sadly, there were many rumors going around. Kyle, like many young men in this area, didn't have had a little bit of a shady past. He was a live wire and he got himself in some trouble, but he was also working very hard. He was engaged and he was cleaning up his life, and you know, he was doing really well. So, you know, these rumors all started that he was running because he had a warrant out, and he did not.
Yeah, what happened with that is when we tried to report Kyle missing, they said that Callie had to report it because he was residing and living in Cadillac, so she had to report it over to Cadillac. Well, Callie and Kyle at that time had Callie's mom's truck. She was gone out of state for a month, and they let her she let them use her vehicle. So when Callie and her mom went to the police in Cadillac, there was a policeman there that happened to be from Holton Lake years before that and happened to know of Kyle and just laughed about it and wouldn't do anything about it. So the next day they came back and said that they really wanted to report him missing, so because they still hadn't heard from him. So he did, and then they were talking, I guess, about the truck, and he told Callie's mother that if she would report the truck missing or stolen, that would be another resource for not only them looking for Kyle, but they could also put out information on this missing truck. So she said, okay. Well, as soon as that happened, they slapped him with a felony for stealing it.
Yeah.
So they cared more about the truck than the person.
And like I said, he didn't steal the truck. They had permission to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And cameraman, Callie is the significant other to Kyle.
Correct.
Right. And I don't know, you know, if you're not comfortable with last names, I'm totally fine with that. And he wants to know about the mail. We did talk about this earlier, cameraman. The mail was with him. He is the one that contacted Kyle and wanted a ride. And then this is what happened. That's in the mail, same mail that came out of the woods looking fine after 3 days. So, okay.
Do you know if Kyle had significant amount of money on him or anything?
No, he didn't.
And this wasn't his truck as well, from my
Correct.
understanding.
Right. It was his, future mother-in-law's truck. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And he wants to know if she was the significant other to Kyle, why was she? Okay, it wasn't Callie that was out of state for a month.
No, it was Callie's mom.
It was Callie's mom. They were using Callie's mom's truck.
Correct.
So I need a name. I need a name to put in the description.
For the male cameraman, is that what you're looking for?
So
Can we
I think
get
it just
a
means
first
in
name,
general
Michelle?
when we're talking about people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we could just call him Jay.
Why can't
Well,
we
I-
just, I don't understand why we can't say his first name. It's not,
Yeah.
I thought
that's-
you were not able to say it.
Well,
That's
I
why.
don't know legally if he lawyered up. If legally we can, I know we can't
I
give
think
his,
first name.
if
Probably.
his first name, I'll say it is Brian.
Okay.
Okay.
And you did not know this person before?
no,
Yeah.
no.
And do you
No.
know Kyle knew him? You know, he knew the younger.
He knew his younger brother.
Okay. And does the younger brother have anything to say?
No, no, nothing.
Right.
He said he didn't know anything about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really a complicated case because, we've had information that a few other people were there. There's so many unanswered questions at this point. It's so hard to say.
The police won't do anything. If anybody comes to them with any kind of information, they will not do anything because they say it's hearsay.
Right.
And Brian didn't have any connection to Callie, right?
No, no.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So no connection, cameraman. It was just that
No.
Callie had her mom's truck, and that's what Kyle was using, and that's what he gave Brian a ride in.
Yes.
And I'm just going to put this up because, after 9 years, Kyle has been missing for 9 years this month. I think cameraman is absolutely correct.
Do they call it an open case, or you don't know?
Yep. It's an open case.
Okay.
And Brian to Kyle was an acquaintance. Kyle knew Brian's younger brother.
Right.
So,
His younger brother was Kyle's age, and so Brian was older than Kyle, a little older than Kyle.
And it sounds like Kyle was just being kind.
Yeah, he was giving, it's from what I understand, he was just giving him a ride. And it's really hard to say about the Brian because, like I said, I know all of Kyle's friends very well, and I've never met him before until this incident happened. So I don't know any information about him, to give anybody.
right. Right.
Does he still live in the area?
Yes.
And does, to your knowledge, work anywhere? I mean, don't say it, but is he employed?
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Right. And again, legally, I don't know how much we can say.
Right.
Our main focus, my main focus with even doing this show is somebody out there. And I feel strongly that it's more than one somebody.
Me too.
People know things. And I think somebody knows exactly what happened with Kyle. And they need to come straight forward and just, get it off of their heart and free this family. Not knowing is hell.
I don't even, at this point, I don't even care so much about really what happened. I would just like to know where Kyle's body is or where I don't believe in my heart that Kyle's with us anymore. Kyle and I were very close and I don't feel that. But I would just like to know where his body is. So his children have somewhere where they can go, to pay their respects to their dad, and that's all I would like at this point.
Okay. So, cameraman, I'm a retired veteran of the U.S. Army. My MOS was 3 Criminal Investigation Special Agent. Well, that's good to know.
Could use your.
Yes, give him my number.
We'll take any help she can get.
Yeah, cameraman, if you know any of us, hit us up on Facebook or leave your info on YouTube, something. Definitely would love to talk to you. So what was the reasoning for the trip in the truck?
I don't know exactly what the reasoning was. I guess from what I've been told, it was that Brian needed a ride to go to Cadillac to pick something up, but I don't know what it was or anything about that much.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, I know it's 9 years ago, but if we could talk about what route you thought they took and the description of the truck, maybe it would, like somebody saw something odd happening and it stuck in their mind for 9 years.
It was I don't know the year, but it was a reddish burgundy Toyota Tundra. And the route that they took, I only know from what Brian told me, and he said on the way back, they went down Vandermeulen Road, I believe it is, and they ended up on some back roads, and that was all he really said. But when Brian first came out of the woods and we found out he was out without Kyle, a couple of Kyle's friends went with me for several days. All day long, we went looking for Kyle, and his one friend made Brian go with us. So Brian was with us for several days and had us going the way wrong direction. He had us going towards Grayling.
Michelle, I'm going to ask real quick. Do you have a device on with the volume of the show on as well as?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm hearing feedback, so I'm just wondering where that's coming from. Yeah.
So
It might be the bird, Deb, that you're hearing.
Oh, okay. So there are a few psychic mediums on offering some help. Contact me personally, guys. I don't want to bog Michelle down with a lot of information. So if you contact either me or Beth or Stephanie, we'll see to it that you're okay. Oh, cameraman said feedback is minimal. That's good to know. I'm hearing it quite a bit.
So if Brian was missing, you originally thought both the guys were missing for a few days, correct?
Yes.
They were actually.
Yes.
Yeah, according to Brian's family, or you don't know? I mean, you said he didn't look like he came out of the woods, so do we really know if he did?
No. Well, yeah, I know that he came out of the woods because as soon as he came back into town, people told me that he was back and that Kyle wasn't with him. And I went over to where he was staying and he said he didn't know where Kyle was.
Was your gut feeling that he's responsible?
Yes.
Yeah. And we don't know, again.
No, we don't know.
Did he come out of the woods that same day or evening? Or did he truly come out of the woods 3 days later? There's so many things that, nobody's been able to prove at this point. But he very well may have come out of the woods that same night or even the next morning, had someone pick him up. Kyle's phone was dead, wasn't it, Michelle?
Yes. Yeah.
So nobody could contact him.
Right.
Was that ever found? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I don't believe it was, Deb, because I think that Kyle, from what I remember, Kyle didn't have any minutes on his phone, but they were using his phone for like a light, I guess.
Okay.
That's what Brian said. I don't know if it's true or what, but
Isn't it kind of strange that his phone also came up missing?
Yeah.
His dog was also with him.
Well, it wasn't his dog. It was his dog's puppy that he had. He just got back that day because the guy who he gave it to couldn't keep it anymore. So the dog was a couple years older, and so Kyle knew the dog because it was his friend's. He gave it to his friend, but it wasn't necessarily his dog. So that first day was the first day that Kyle had that dog.
Okay. And the dog was found about 28 days later?
Yes.
And where was he found? In that area?
Yes.
Cameraman, you got it right.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to read that too.
Yeah, I think he's got it in the right order and everything.
Okay.
And then several years after Kyle was missing, a tree cutting place was clear cutting out by that area, and they found a leash tied up to a tree and contacted my fiance because he was from that area, and we went out there, and it was that dog's leash and collar.
Mm.
Yes, and yes, Nicole, the dog was found alive. So I just posted the website, and the website is also listed. Where's KyleMosher.com. Everybody, please take a look at that. I'm running the tip line on the bottom of the page here. Write that number down if anybody knows anything, even if you think it's not significant. Please report it.
And if you report it, please also reach out to me on my Facebook page or let Deb know, because if the police aren't going to follow up on it, I will.
Exactly. Okay, so I just wanted to pop a few photos up. This is Kyle with his son Connor. And
Really good looking young man, huh?
Yes.
And the baby.
Yeah.
Connor is now 15.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And I believe this one is that same day, the last day
Yes.
anybody saw Kyle. And this was him swimming in Houghton Lake, right, Michelle?
Yeah, in Lake James.
Yeah. So just so everybody can see what he did look like 9 years ago. Again, if anybody has heard something, if you heard people talking and there's something that you think should be investigated, let one of us know. Call the tip line or contact one of us. Absolutely. So there were a few things found, like there was a water bottle found a ways from the truck. You did end up finding his flip-flops.
Yes.
Right. But other than that, I mean, really, it's like saying he vanished without a trace.
Right.
Because there's been nothing else found. Now, someone did report that they either saw him or gave him a ride.
Both.
Okay.
But they don't know for sure that it was Kyle. And I do have to say, Kyle and Brian did look quite a bit alike.
Right. And one thing about it, Kyle, whoever they picked up did not have a shirt on.
Correct.
Now, Kyle has some pretty significant tattoos, and with his last name, I believe it is, right across his back.
Right.
So if somebody picked him up or saw him walking, that would stick in their mind.
I would think so too.
So we really don't know if it was Brian or if it was Kyle.
I'm so puzzled by Brian didn't share with you, this is where I lost Kyle, or we had a camp out and I woke up and he wasn't there. Nothing.
Yes, he told us that the dog got loose and that Kyle went to look for the dog and Brian didn't go with him.
Was
which
it
is
hunting? It wouldn't be hunting season.
no.
No. July 19th.
Okay, so Jody Ann wants to know, did they find it off Vandermeulen Road? And I'm assuming she's talking about the dog. Honestly, I don't know where Vandermeulen Road is.
Vandermeulen is when you go down 55 and you're going towards Lake City. There used to be a place there. It was called AJ's Dugout on the left.
Okay.
And that road you can kind of cut through and it'll take you so you don't have to go through the town of Lake City.
Right.
And that's Vandermeulen.
Okay, and that's not anywhere near, from my recollection. Yeah, from what I remember, that's not anywhere near where the dog was found.
No.
And Cameron wants to know, is the dog still alive?
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, the dog's not alive anymore. It got Kyle's dad did take the dog, and several years after he ended up moving, and the dog ended up running out in the road and it got hit.
Oh, how sad. How sad. Okay, yes, cameraman, the dog was in the truck with Kyle. The dog collar and leash, Jody Ann is saying something about, Christine Keller is saying close to Lake City. That's where okay. I'm just trying to get caught up here. All right. So in many ways, the dog is not pertinent to the case. I believe that the dog ran off scared and wasn't even with Kyle. If it were,
yeah, I don't know how the dog ran off or whatever, because it looked like somebody had tied the dog up to a tree, because when the leash was found, it was tied to a tree.
right,
Mm.
right. So it probably
So he wiggled out of it.
got that leash off somehow, and
Right.
did.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So is it me or someone who lawyers up? Why would they lawyer up if they?
Right.
I'm trying to feel their energy from being afraid that they're going to get accused, but I can't. I don't understand the whole lawyering up thing.
Me either.
Right. Yeah. If you're innocent, my thinking would be you'd want to do everything you can to prove something, or help out in the case.
And I guess he did do a little bit of searching, but he took him in the wrong direction.
Right. And from what my understanding is Brian knew that area very, very well, had spent a lot of his younger years going out there, I guess, riding dirt bikes and hiking or whatever.
Yeah, he used to participate in a race that they had out there, and it was called the Pine Cone Race, and it was like a motorcycle race. But Brian also worked for the oil fields for years, and there is a lot of oil fields out that way.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know where in the oil fields did he do that out west?
Yes, he did, but I guess he started here and then moved out that way.
Right.
I know it was an odd question, but being my husband's Lakota, and we know that a lot of people have gone missing from people that work on the pipeline. Not all people, most of them are good,
Right.
but it just sparked something in me when you said that.
We can always talk with Michelle at another time about some of that as well, if Michelle's okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I do remember some things coming up about that. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that. I'm just trying to see here. Brian knows everything. The dog forced himself out of the collar after being tied to a tree.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the dog would have followed Brian out of the woods and muddied his story.
that's true, probably.
Okay, and
But
Jay,
remember, Brian told me that the dog got loose and took off, and that's how come Kyle and him separated.
right,
Well, I
right,
mean, whoever, Brian or whoever was last with Kyle
Right.
and might have been responsible isn't going to tell us the right story,
Right.
right.
especially if
I
you're
just
trying
find
to.
it very odd that if two people were out in a swampy area and it's dark, why would you separate?
Right. I
Right.
wouldn't.
I think men might, but I don't think that they would let it go too far. Like if they lost the sight of their buddy or the person with them, they would start walking in that direction anyway.
Right.
I would think, and also, Michelle, wouldn't it be easier for two people to catch a dog than one?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Right. And, that's the crazy about part of this whole case is none of it makes sense.
I don't even know for sure if Brian's telling me the truth that the dog got loose and that Kyle went to look for the dog. That I don't even know if that's right.
Well,
Right.
honestly, you don't even really know if Kyle went in the woods, correct? I mean, yes, his truck was in an area, but
Well, it is
somebody
all
put
woods.
his truck in that area. I'm sorry.
It's a pretty wooded area where
But what
they,
if somebody took the truck there?
yeah, that's possible.
You know?
Jamie wants to know, and I don't know the answer to this, has any of the oil drums or what reservoirs been scanned or searched?
We did contact the company that's out there, and some of them have been capped, and so those we can't really do anything with. But the oil fields that are there now that are active, yes, those were checked.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of comments here that I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but God, I had something I wanted to ask. How about
Kyle,
you?
we even have a Facebook page for Kyle. It's called Help Find Kyle Mosher. And if anybody ever wants to get on there and ask questions, just tag me and I'll answer them.
And how would they tag you? Just Michelle.
Yep, my name's Michelle Fowler, and they can just type my name in there and it'll send me a message.
Okay, and I am posting that link, and that is to the Facebook group. So anybody that has any information, feel free to contact somebody. It's been, again, 9 years without a trace.
Was it like Kyle at all not to let people know where he was?
No,
Okay.
especially me. Kyle called me probably 15 times a day. Sometimes he would call me and I would say, Kyle, that's enough phone calls. And then 10 minutes later, my phone would ring and he's like, oh, Mom, I got to ask you about a recipe or something off the wall just so he could talk.
And it wasn't unusual. It wasn't unusual for him not to be in touch with Kaylee. I'm sorry, I'm saying her name.
Callie.
Callie.
Right.
It wasn't. He didn't do that, correct?
No, he was always in contact.
And with his sister, Nicole.
Yeah, very close with his sister too.
And I know we talked about the kids, but how many children did he leave?
Kyle had Connor, who you saw in the one picture, and that was with a different girl he had met years ago. And then he had two daughters with Callie, Layla and Ava.
And how old are they now?
9 and 10.
How is Callie doing? Is she
Callie really struggles. She has a lot of nightmares, and she really she has a very hard time talking about it. We try to talk about Kyle like to the girls and stuff so they know, and but she really struggles with that.
I am gonna throw up if I can find it here. Another photo.
another thing I'd like to say why Deb's doing that is I'm sure that Michelle wants any tips she can get, but please don't play with it in any which way or form, or because you need attention or whatever. It's really important that we get really good information. But at the same time, even if you think something is really small and you don't think it's worth reporting, you should.
Right.
That's Kyle with his sister, Nicole.
Oh, yeah. You got good looking kids there, Michelle.
Yeah, and I'm just, I wanted to show that there's another one. Kyle's very close with his family.
Right.
So this is highly unusual that 9 years could go by, or even 2 days could go by, and there's Kyle with his sister and his mom, without him contacting someone. There's just no way that he would do that. So all of it was out of character.
So, Michelle, when did Brian shut down? Did something happen specifically?
No, I think that, well, for quite a while there, everybody was just like we talked about earlier, that said that Kyle was just running because he had a felony, and so he was hiding out. And so, but when the people found out that that wasn't true, and people were starting to crack down more on why Brian didn't have any information, that's when he just kind of said that he already told people what he said, and that was it, and that's all he had to say.
That's a good question, and I don't know if it's what you meant, Nicole. But she said, did they trace his phone? Well, I'm not thinking, you said it was our minutes. I'm thinking, did they trace Brian's phone at all?
Yes, they did trace Brian's phone.
Did they find out anything interesting?
Not to my knowledge, but I do know that they traced Brian's phone because Brian's phone was in his uncle's name, and the police went to the uncle and the uncle gave all the information. So I do know that they had his phone records. What was on there, I don't know. I didn't get to see that, or I would have been calling those phone numbers.
Yeah,
Right.
because my understanding, also pinging off of towers.
Right.
Right. Well, you have to remember 9 years ago, we didn't have, they couldn't trace phones like as well as they can now.
Right.
A lot of these younger people had like track phones, kind of like a disposable phone.
I've noticed in a lot of these missing persons cases, it's not treated as a crime right away. So people touch things they shouldn't touch. Brian probably never had fingernail DNA done under his nails, or see if he had scratches, or any of that probably didn't happen. And he was gone for 3 days. So that could make a difference as well.
But, right.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mandy, hi, Mandy. They can trace to a location now. Yeah. Nowadays, a lot of the phones, you can track them and find out where that phone has been. But I don't think that was the case back then.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But back then, a lot of people had flip phones, and I don't think those were traceable.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, good question. They wouldn't know if Brian ever consulted to a polygraph.
No, he did not.
Was it ever offered?
To my knowledge, yes.
Why not? Why not clear himself.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Right. Yeah. And, one thing about this case is the more answers you get, the more questions you're going to have.
Yeah.
Because there's so many bizarre things, just you go crazy. And even after 9 years, I can't imagine what Michelle goes through because, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, God, I wonder, and things just, I still go crazy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, cameraman, I know they're not in courts admissible, but it could have gave Michelle at least felt better about it or felt worse about it.
Well, and yeah,
She would have
and
got to know the results.
Yeah, even the police would have an idea of his innocence or guilt, but who knows? Aw. And I love this. You need to hear this right now. Jody and Michelle, you are so strong and brave, and I agree with her.
She really is.
You're an amazing
you.
woman.
Here.
Yeah, and a wonderful mom.
I mean, Stephanie, can you imagine? Stephanie has one daughter. I can't even imagine.
Madison ran away for 3 hours and I lost it. So I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Christina is saying at that time they could ping a location from the carrier. However, it was not as accurate as it is now. The police would have to get a court order to make the phone carrier provide that information. And again, I felt from the get-go, the police did not take this seriously enough. They were saying, he's some punk kid. He got himself in trouble and he's,
running.
taking off to hide.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they don't really have the resources that, say, a big city would have either.
No.
Right.
Well, at first, when Kyle first went missing, I even got a hold of a search company, and they came, the first one, they wouldn't even come out because they said that they weren't even equipped to do anything as big as a search of this area.
So they didn't even bring like horses or dogs or anything?
Oh, yeah. Eventually, I've had several search teams out there, not just one, several.
But I don't think the police only had one, right?
The police had one dog, and they searched the area for probably 4 hours. And then they told me that they've ran out of all their resources, and that was all they could do.
Yeah. But we did have other, through Project Missing and stuff, we did have other teams out there.
Right.
Cadaver dogs and the whole 9 yards. And yeah. Okay, so this one, Jamie wants to know, my apologies for backtracking, but where were the flip-flop founds? Were they in sight or hidden?
They were, we had a search going, and so had several people out there, and we made a chain where you put your arms out to where you could touch the other person, and they were in some heavily thick area where the weeds and grass were probably up to my knees.
Wow.
Yeah, and not very close to the truck.
No.
Quite a ways, actually, wasn't it? Wasn't it half a mile or so?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
My fiance feels that they were thrown, just tossed there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like they were right next to each other where somebody ran out of them. And in that area, I don't know why Kyle would not want his shoes on.
Right.
Right.
Unless they were slowing him down and he was trying to get away. We don't know.
Right.
We don't
So
know.
just to be thorough, to your knowledge, did Kyle have any enemies?
I'm sure he had people that didn't like him, but not enemies to that extent.
Yeah. Pamela Sue wants to know, could it be possible he was never out there where they say he was? no, that's not possible. I guess I can't say that, Michelle.
Yeah, I guess I can't really say that either.
You know, like in some missing person cases, they can tell where the seat was, if it was where he would have normally driven it. It's kind of noticeable if the seat was way back and somebody was short. None of that was talked about, huh?
Well, like I said, those two were very close in height and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they
but
even
I
look.
do not know about that. I don't know if that was checked or not, but I do know that they were about the same weight and same height,
Yeah,
same color hair.
yeah, yeah. So it's so hard to say. And again, there were reports of, well, his shoes were found, water bottle was found, a few other little items from the truck. There were two people who said that they had seen Kyle. One of them said they gave him a ride, but we don't really think that it was Kyle that got the ride, or I don't. So
I don't either, because if I had somebody sitting on my tailgate, I would be, if I didn't know the person, I would be glancing in the mirror to see what was going on or what they were doing. And I don't know how they wouldn't have not seen that tattoo across the back of his back.
right,
And they told me they don't recall seeing any tattoo like that.
And also, you're saying that he really didn't have the resources to like disappear. So, and what would be the reason, first of all?
Right.
And second of all, there would have been, it seems like there would be some proof in 9 years.
Right.
You know, if you go without your shoes and you don't have your, probably you said there wasn't a lot of money on him. How do you
he had a phone
disappear
without
off the face of
minutes.
the earth?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just common sense. And like Michelle said, if Brian looks a lot like Kyle, then that's who they might have given a ride to.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And it's, I can tell you in my heart of hearts, everything that I feel, Kyle did not, 100% did not go voluntary missing. There is
No.
absolutely no way.
No.
His babies were there and here in town. His mom, his sister, he did not voluntarily go missing. Okay, someone's asking something else. And where did the witness say he picked him up from and when?
I believe it was off of 7 Mile Road, the dirt road where the trail was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and it was like the next morning, wasn't it? They went missing on Friday, and wasn't that Saturday morning?
Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. Okay. So, I've always wondered, is that, how Brian got home cleaned up? But we just don't know.
Why didn't Brian bring the truck back?
It was hung up on a log.
Okay. Keys were in it, as far as you know.
As far as I know.
Okay. Michelle said she's being late. Was there an area of water? A river runs through that whole area, Michelle. And I've asked that any psychics or mediums contact one of us if you get anything from this case, so that we just don't bog this down. I mean, if we get into all that, we're going to have issues with it. What road was the truck found on? It was right off 7 Mile.
Yeah, it wasn't a road. It was on a trail, and the trail was very far back from the road.
So like a 2-track or a
Yes.
actual trail?
Well, no. Well, yeah, I guess it was like Mhm.
I would say more of a trail. It wasn't really
It was a trail. Yeah.
You wouldn't want to take a car on that.
No.
I mean, I would have even been iffy taking a truck.
And see, that's another thought I'm having is Kaylee's. I'm sorry, I keep calling her the wrong name.
Callie.
I have a granddaughter named Kaylee. Callie's mother entrusted them with this truck. Would you really take this truck off the road like
Right.
that? I don't know.
Okay. Jody Ann, they were not on Vandermeulen. That's closer to Lake City from what Michelle was saying. They were on 7 Mile, closer to Well, they were right on the border of Kalkaska and Missaukee County.
Right.
So that's really kind of a ways from Lake City. It might be considered Lake City, but it's not like in town or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't in town.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, cameraman, you'd be surprised where you can take a truck. Well, they did take the truck there and they were stuck. It was.
And I was just saying it was somebody else's truck. And
the truck was not 4-wheel drive.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I've
if they ever
often
wanted to borrow it again,
Yeah.
you think they would be like super careful with it, you know?
Right.
Mm.
I've often wondered why did they take that? Why were they there? I mean, what was the point of being there in the middle of nowhere in this highly wooded area where there's just trails and woods and rivers and a lot of
Swamps.
wildlife, and yeah, it's not a place that I would want to go. But one of the people, Brian, knew that area well.
I might have said, "Hey, let's go check this out," or
yeah.
But I don't really know why he would even say to check that out, because it was dark. It was night time. Yeah, I mean, when they left Houghton Lake, it was after 6:00. So I would think that, it wasn't like they were going on a little trip during the day.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Michelle, my son is really impulsive. Is Brian not Brian? Was Kyle impulsive at all? Like,
I would say yes. Sorry for walking around. I got to get a sweatshirt. I'm cold. Yeah, Kyle was impulsive.
Yeah.
He was young. He was 27.
Yeah.
Kevin?
I just can imagine my son doing something like that. But
honey, what was the name of that road that Brian said that they went on Vandermeulen, right? But wasn't something 66? That's where Brian came out at, right?
66.
Old 66 was the road that Brian came out on.
Right.
He walked out on Beaver Road, which then went to 66.
is that what somebody saw, or is that what Brian said?
Well, he took us on that trail. He was showing us stuff where he walked, and then there was a RV trail where he hid some stuff that he kept for weapons. He showed us where that was at. That was on Beaver Trail.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, I'm shocked about the weapons. What about the weapons?
I believe
Hang on just a second. I'm going to give the phone. Okay. Hang on.
He carried a ball, like a trailer hitch ball. He carried that for a weapon, and he put that beside a RV trail sign when we walked out there with him. He showed us where that was at. And then he could remember where the ORV sign that he ripped off the pole, he kept that for a weapon. He showed us where he threw that in the brush. And that was on Beaver Trail on his way out to M66.
Did he say why he felt he needed weapons?
I don't know for sure if he's mentioned anything. So, but I mean, when you're out there, you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still
So
raises a red flag for me. Just does.
exactly.
Thank
Now
you.
let's- Yeah, tell him we said thank you for that.
Yeah, he's right here. He just got done working. I have a workaholic fiance, so he is always working, but he just came in.
We think that there's so many. And what is his name?
Kevin?
Kevin. That's right. I
Thank
can
you,
see the
Kevin.
K, and of course, all I can think of is Kyle. So I lost what I was going to say.
Kevin's from Merritt area, so he knows the area where Kyle went missing really good. So how many miles would you say the Deadstream Swamp is? Didn't they say 20?
Well, just in that area where he was at, but the whole Deadstream Swamp is probably 13,000 acres.
Wow.
The whole Deadstream Swamp is.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So was none of that was public land? It was all state, or?
There was some private mix inside of the state land. There was like little 40-acre parcels inside of the state land.
Okay.
And then it ran along the Manistee River.
Right.
And there were cabins out there because Brian did break into a couple cabins, which he never got in trouble for because they called it getting out of the elements. So he was allowed to do that, I guess.
Although this time of year, I mean, how many elements do you need to get out of?
July 19th.
Right. Well, he didn't get in trouble for it. So,
Right. Yeah. And I believe there was also a large hunting knife found.
yeah. Didn't he have a knife, Kevin? A machete or something he had. What was
I
it?
can't remember this alone.
Yeah, he did have something. I can't remember, but I do know that one of the cabins that Brian had broke into, they found some of Kyle's clothes, like a sweatshirt, and I can't remember what else it was. And Brian did make the comment that he forgot to burn those. So he said that he put them on because he didn't have any clothes with him. And I guess Kyle did, from what Callie said, Kyle did have some extra sweatshirts and stuff in the truck. But I don't know why Brian would have them.
And why would Brian say he forgot to burn them?
Right. I don't know.
Because I know people are allowed to make mistakes and still be good people, but do we know if Brian has a record?
From what I know, yes.
And you wouldn't know what that was for?
No.
Like if he was
I don't know if I should really go into saying that part. So
Right. Yeah. We have to be kind of careful.
No, that's okay.
So
just my brain's going like this.
Yeah.
I know. Believe me. Michelle wanted to know, can I get a missing person poster from the website scrolling? Yes, you can. I just posted that website. Michelle, everybody feel free to go to that website. There's lots of information there. There's a poster that you can print out. There's a lot of photos. There's the tip line that is running on the bottom of the screen right now. Feel free to call that tip line with any information. And if you don't see the link here, if you're not on to be able to see the link, it is www.where'skylemosher.com.
Jamie wants to know, did Brian work for the oil company that was drilling out there at the time?
No. Kevin, what was the oil field work, or what state was Brian in when he was working in the oil field? What was that state?
I want to say
It's where everybody was going to work. Where was this?
South Dakota.
Oh, yep, yep. It was
That's
South Dakota.
Yeah, I almost said it. I was gonna let
Yeah,
you
yep.
South or North Dakota, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And AJ, hi AJ. You know, there's so many questions. I don't know what she means.
I would like to ask Michelle because I think people need to know. And I don't mean to be too intrusive or anything, but how has this changed your life?
The not knowing is the part that I can't deal with. And not having the answers to when people ask you something or his children ask something and you have nothing to give them back, that's what hurts my heart.
Yeah. And as a mom, I can't even.
You can't even really describe the feeling that you have. It's like a big lost feeling that you have no answer for or reason why, and it's always just constant questions all the time. When it first happened, for the longest time I couldn't even go to the store or anything because people would come up to me and it would be so upsetting. You just don't know how to answer anything or say anything without just breaking down.
I would imagine, and I'm just imagining, because my son was missing for like 24 hours, maybe more. That panic feeling that you get, I would guess would have to become numbness after a while.
Right.
Right.
And so if anybody's listening that has even the tiniest tip, remember that this didn't just affect Kyle and his kids and his fiance, but his mom has been thinking about this for 9 years. If there's anything you can do to help, anything, please reach out.
And as we said in the beginning of the show, and a lot of people weren't on there then, Michelle and I both feel very strongly that there's more than one or two people that do know what happened with Kyle. And, you know, please, 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 even if somebody has heard them say something, come out with it. Just come out with it. Any answers are better than none. And thank you for that, Christina. I'm sure Michelle's family can really use a lot of prayer. They've been through, you know, daily, the not knowing. How can anyone deal with that? And there are other families out there. I personally know Michelle, so this is closest to my heart, and I can't imagine not. You don't know if you're supposed to grieve. You don't know if it's okay to even accept the fact that they're probably never coming home. You don't know anything.
Yeah, the word peace just keeps coming up. Just give the family peace.
Yes or no, Tower Hill? I'm not sure what you mean by that, cameraman.
Is there a place called Tower Hill right there?
What about that road?
Yeah, can you elaborate on that a little bit, cameraman? Jody wants to know, is there any outside resources you can use to find some answers or more help to assist in the situation, since the police seem like they're not being helping much? And you have done that.
Right.
The website is actually made by a team.
And the FBI never got involved.
No.
Cameraman. If I ask Michelle a coded question, would she be able to answer it for me? Oh, I see. That was right before he said Tower Hill. Okay. So I don't know. Donna, there's been many searches. Many. And I don't know, I think anybody that has been even a little bit involved in that case, I will purposely drive to that area sometimes just to see if I can find anything. Anything. And if I'm going through the area, I'm constantly looking.
Did the dogs hit on anything?
Not really. No.
I mean, they reacted a few times, but
Right. But nothing ever came of it.
yeah. And like I said, we even had cadaver dogs out there.
Right.
These dogs normally, if there's a tooth buried, they find it.
And it's not just one dog team. I've had several out there.
Yeah.
And like Kevin said, when we were out looking for Kyle, Kevin is an avid hunter. So he's very aware of that area. And he is, like I said, an avid hunter. And he said that he even looked like for crows, because usually if there's something dead, they flock around, and there was never nothing.
Right. Yeah. Vanished without a trace. I mean, it's totally insane.
They didn't search the river.
Yeah, but like it's a big area. I can't even describe. I took TV 9 and 10 out on that 2-track where Kyle's truck was hung up on that log. We parked, and then we had to walk over to that truck. When we were done talking and stuff in that area, those people turned back around and had no idea what direction we were going.
So, cameraman, all the persons still involved in the case are still in the area? I don't know if all of them are or not.
No, I don't believe all of them are.
I'm a Michigan local and could offer my services in boots on the ground and kicking up dirt, asking questions. So be in contact, cameraman. Somehow get us your information, please.
Get a hold of
If it wasn't for, there was a search company called Backwoods Search and Rescue, and they were from Marquette. And I harassed them to come here for months because they were the only search team that I ever could find that was used to searching in a heavily wooded area. Well, he finally agreed to come here, and he came here, and we did cross off some areas, but it's just so far for them to be coming all the time, and they usually stay in their area. So, but if that cameraman, we can get his information, I can also give him some information about that situation.
Good question, Melinda.
Yeah, very good. I don't think so. I mean, it was like 28 days before that poor dog was found.
Right.
Kyle, as Michelle said, yes, he had the dog, but the dog, they weren't bonded. It was like a dog in transit. So he'd been with Kyle for a couple of days, right, Michelle?
He just got him that day.
That day.
Yeah.
So
it's not like the dog was loyal to Kyle like his dog was. He didn't have his dog with him, but this was a puppy that he had given to a friend. So Kyle was around the dog occasionally because he would go to his friend's house, but it wasn't his dog.
Right. The local PD And county sheriff don't seem to be doing anything, even though the case is, it's still an active case. And it is still an active case. And no,
No.
I haven't heard of anything being done in quite a while.
No. The day that they went out and searched for Kyle, that was the day that they told me that they had exceeded their resources, and that was really all that they did. Now
So
we
they
did have
don't even have-
somebody that was found out, I believe, around in that area. Somebody had found, I believe it was a human skull, and I was contacted then by the police and was told that they didn't that they believe it was a female and not Kyle. So they didn't want me to be upset, which already tons of people had contacted me saying, did they find Kyle? Did they find Kyle? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, but they did contact me and tell me that they didn't, it was a female. That's all that they told me.
Yeah, and that was within the first, what, 4 or 5 months, wasn't it?
No, that just happened.
Oh,
That just
okay.
happened the beginning of the summer.
Okay, so I
So-
didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
Did they send it in for analysis or?
Yes, but they said that it would take years.
Fine.
So still no answers.
Backlog in the lab.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that kind of answers that.
Now
Yeah,
we're seeing the same thing with Crystal and
right.
a lot of missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we have to say there, there have been times that they have found bodies and got the DNA rather quickly.
Mhm.
I think.
Oh, I know what you're thinking of, Deb.
Yeah,
I think that you're remembering when it was been several years back now that guy and girl went missing out there
that's right.
and they found their bodies out there.
Yeah, and that
Same
wasn't
area?
too
The same
terrible.
area?
Yeah, a young couple,
Oh,
very close to the same area. Yes.
Yeah. It was Deadstream Swamp, but like Kevin said, that area is huge. So it wasn't right by Kyle.
were
It
they
was
found?
the people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they were found. There were missing posters out and all of that. And they were found, I think,
Pretty quick.
fairly quickly. Yeah, within
I think within a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I know it was quick. There's so
Yeah.
many places, but yeah, interesting that it was kind of, I would say it's probably 10, 15 miles from, I'm not real good at that, but
Yeah,
from
I would say, yeah, at least.
where Kyle
Yeah.
went missing, but it's still the same general area.
Right.
And
whole
was their
area
case solved?
Theirs?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
No connection.
No.
Doesn't appear to be.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Christina says that environment is not very hospitable, and it's not. It's a mess out there.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, Donna thinks that they were found with their truck. Okay. So again, I'm going to say, the main reason we wanted to do this show is because somebody has information. Somebody knows what happened.
Come on.
And somebody needs to speak out. It's been 9 years, and this family needs answers. And Kyle deserves that too. So please call the tip line, contact somebody, call the, I know, is Detective House in Cadillac State Police still on the case?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
But if you do get a hold of the police in Cadillac, they will connect you to the right person.
Okay. So it was the state police in Cadillac, so Missaukee County, that was handling this case.
Right.
Okay. All right. Do you ladies have more questions, or does anybody else?
I kind of want to just know if Michelle wants us to know anything else.
There's so much stuff about this case, but I like I said, there's none of it that has any answers. But if anybody, like I said, has a question or would like to ask me something, they're more than welcome to on that Facebook page, and I will be more than open with them about anything I know.
And don't let anything go. If you saw a truck like that description acting erratic, or saw it parked somewhere that you think you saw
Right.
somewhere,
Okay.
or any
Once
of that,
again,
you saw Brian walking or any of that. I mean, you gotta, every little piece of the puzzle helps.
I'm trying to post the link to the Facebook page, Help Find Kyle Mosher. And is that public now?
Yes.
Is it public? Okay.
They want to know if you're doing any more searches. Jody does.
We haven't done any this year, but we are planning on it next year. Again, like I said, we've searched so much of that area, and from the search teams that I've had, they all said that usually they're a person or bodies found within so many miles from that area, and we have searched that, but there are several places out there that you can't get to safely.
Right. And people who know that area well would know those areas.
Right.
Yeah.
Does Kevin have anything he wanted to say to us?
Kevin's already back outside working.
She said he's a workaholic.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He works he gets up at 5 and he comes in the house probably at dark, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Sounds like he's been a really good support for you.
Yes, he has. He has. We've been together for 17 years, so
Wow.
he's been through a lot of things with me as I have him, so
Right. For each other.
yeah.
And how is Kyle's sisters doing?
Nicole Deb, you know how Nicole is. She really, 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 really still is struggling with this.
Yeah. Nicole and Kyle were almost like, I mean, they're not twins, but they're like that close. Yeah, my heart just breaks for her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she posted every year she posts something for him. She has a lot of dreams about Kyle, and but every year she'll post, like on the 19th of this year on Facebook, she'll post about him, and this year she put a song on there. I don't even know what the name of the song is, but it's heartbreaking. And she posted a lot of pictures of them when they were little and stuff, but she struggles a lot.
And again, she needs answers. The whole family needs answers. His kids, his poor kids.
Right.
Like Michelle said, you don't know what to say to them.
Yeah.
Now,
Connor was older when his dad went missing, so Connor struggles a lot, where the girls were young. Ava was only months old when he went missing. 5 months.
Yeah, so he has.
And Layla was only 1, so they don't remember him. We talk about him a lot, and the youngest daughter looks just like him, and she acts just like him, and it's just bittersweet sometimes. They just were at my house for 2 weeks, so yeah, she's something else.
It looks like you have a search party ready to go here. There's several
Yeah.
people, and we'd be there. But
Absolutely.
when you do a search, do you like post it on Facebook or anything so people can come? Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, so maybe something can be set up, but at this point, doing a search, you almost have to have, if you're going to do that kind of search, it almost has to be with cadaver dogs, because there would be no other. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been doing missing person stuff for a while. You're not looking for a person at this point,
Right.
unless he's living. And if he's living, he's not there.
Yeah, if we found clothes or something, that'd be pretty weather worn and
Right.
maybe not.
Yeah.
But I think people want to feel like they can do something.
Exactly. Keep your eyes and ears open.
So 9 years ago, July 19th, what was the weather like, Michelle?
It wasn't as hot as it has been lately, but it was warm, because that's the reason why they were over in Houghton Lake, was to go swimming that day, because it was quite hot. I think it was like 80.
Well, this
Not
was Kyle
rainy.
Yeah.
and the kids that day, right?
Yeah.
That's how beautiful it was. It was clear, hot. Okay. So does anybody have anything they'd like to add?
Just that I'm in awe of Michelle, and my heart hurts for her. And I think a lot of us feel the same way, that we wish we could do more. And if there's anything we ever can do, please ask.
I will. I just appreciate you doing this, because it brings awareness back, and hopefully somebody knows something that they can share that could maybe give us some answers.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I think we'll all agree here on Lost Souls that you may come on anytime you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if there's a need for us to have a show at the last minute, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. About any day of the week, right, Steph?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. We'll make it happen. Stephanie, do you have any last thoughts or questions for Michelle?
There's just so much information that I don't even think I can form any of the questions that I have, because there's, like Michelle said, there's so many questions and not a lot of answers. And
Right.
I think in a few days I'll probably have 15 or 20 questions, but right now it's like an overload of I just can't believe it.
Right. Well,
I
we
have
can always.
one more, Michelle. What do you wish people would say or not say to you to be supportive?
I don't mind any comments about Kyle. The only thing that really upsets me is when people point the finger and accuse him of running, or because he was in trouble that he was running. That I would rather not hear about,
Right.
because that's not the case, and it's just very upsetting. And I know that really upsets the sister.
Yeah. And one more time, I'm going to show Kyle with his mom and his sister. And they are a beautiful family, full of love. And no way did Kyle go missing or go into hiding for any reason. Not for any reason. And I want that to be known. And I'm with everybody here. I don't want him to be forgotten. I want people to continue to think about Kyle And remember Kyle. And if you hear any tips, if you have any clues, to speak up. And it's important for his family, for his mom, for his sister, for his kids, to keep his memory alive and keep his story out there. So I think that's the least we can do. So for tonight, go ahead, Beth.
I just said closure. That's all I said.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Oh, Michelle, I so want to hug you.
I know. And it's emotional.
It's important. I know when I told Nicole that Deb wanted to do this, Nicole was here yesterday and she stayed the night with me and we talked about doing this and she goes, Mom, are you sure you can do it? And I said, yes, I'm sure I can do it because it's important and we all need answers. And I said that I wanted to do this for Deb because she's done so much for me when Kyle went missing, and I feel it's important to pay things back.
I love you, Michelle.
I love you too.
Okay, I think we need to end this broadcast. So anytime you want to come back, anytime we can do anything, if you want us to form a committee and go looking or do anything, we're at your service.
Okay, thank you.
So next week, I don't even want to think about it. Do you girls have announcements for next week's shows or tomorrow night's show?
No, none of that seems important right now.
Okay. It's on our Facebook. Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know how hard this is. Well, I don't. But thank you for being here and telling Kyle's story and giving all the information that you did. We love you.
I appreciate it a lot.
Okay. So good night, everybody. Tune in next week, and we'll see you soon. God bless. Take care.